the theme for today is going to be moving around and how it's affected me and what I think the pros and cons are. Wait, it's so beautiful. It's so yeah, so what I think the pros and cons are of having a nomadic lifestyle. I think it comes down to really what kind of person you are. If you're someone who has a lot of anxiety around changing routines and you need to have your comforts, then obviously traveling and moving a lot is never something that's going to suit you. There's a definite difference between backpacking and constantly moving to new places. I'm not talking about backpacking. I like to go to a place, get to know the culture, stay for 1 year so that I can actually integrate. I'm taking a part of that culture away with me. I find myself in a cave. I feel like caves is really my Spanish theme. Caves for the win! I basically have moved around so much in the last... How old am I? In the last 10 years, I've lived in 8 different countries. And while I have absolutely 0 regrets, I do think it comes with some complications that I think are worth mentioning. So these are my takeaways of what it's like constantly moving and living in so many different countries. The first obvious pro is discovering new cultures, new landscapes. Getting to know so many different parts of the world has been such a joy for me. I never would have known that this part of Spain was this green. I did not expect the landscapes that you get here in Spain. I really didn't. It's so green, it's so lush. In terms of cultures, I think it's a really interesting one because living in so many different cultures made me a lot more empathetic. And just learning that, I'm in their country, so I need to respect their ways. I'll give you some really funny examples. When I moved to London when I was 15, I was so used to growing up in France. You had to do le bis to everyone when you get to school, like the 2 kisses on the cheek. And I remember meeting someone and I went to kiss him on the cheek, and this girl just backed up and was like, "What are you doing?" That was a little bit embarrassing for me. And the last one, in Spain, the concept of personal space is very different to the UK. You'll be in a shop and someone will come right next to you in your face and just literally be breathing on you. Also in the metro, also in just so many circumstances, they don't get personal space. In Spain, you don't say sorry because it's weird. In London, you're gonna profusely apologize and be like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's funny how we say sorry for everything in the UK. So cultural adaptability, I think, is a big one. Cool rock. Pro number 2, change of environment always helps you gain perspective. I'm someone who's addicted to novelty. I mean, they say that wherever you go, you take your problems with you, which is absolutely true, if your problems are inside you. However, if you have sun shining bright. If you have circumstantial problems, I really feel like a change of perspective is always so good at just refreshing your mind and making you realize that some problems really aren't that important. I'm not sentimental, but there's something about the way you look tonight. And it can also help you realize which problems are actually linked to your environment and which problems are inside of you. The problems that are inside of you that are actually harder for you to work on, then you can spend time working on those problems rather than the environmental issues that you can just put to one side. So an example for that, as a queer girly, I lived in Madeira, for example, which was chef's kiss. Loved Madeira. I think my soul still is floating around Madeira. But Madeira was not a famous LGBT destination, and so it was really hard for me to meet other queer people. And moving to places like London and then Barcelona were way more adapted to me and helped me connect more with community. It also offers new opportunities that you can rise to. Each space, and this is something I've learned recently, no place will ever be 100% perfect. Like it doesn't exist. There's always going to be something missing in every place that you live. So each time you're in a new place, you have the opportunity to work on different pillars of your life. Pro number 3. This is quite an obvious one for me. When you move so much, you become so much more adaptable and open to spontaneity. And for me, this is one of the most beautiful lessons of life. There have been moments in my life where I tried to plan everything so meticulously. Life never goes according to plan, and if it does, then you're doing something wrong. Of course you have to put in the work, the energy to go and get things that you want, but it's more about how you react to the things that happen to you than about the things that happen to you. It's more likely for it to not work out the way that you want to than for it to work out the way that you do. There's a little bug. There's a little green bug, and he's making me really happy because he's really cute. And it really makes for beautiful character building. All of these experiences that make you less stressed about the outcome make you a easier person to be around and just making you happier as a person as well. When I lived in New Zealand, I got to Queenstown and I went to one of these travel agencies that offer guided tours. I tried to get a job with them and the manager was really hardcore. That was a very stressful sort of interview. I kind of forced an interview on him because I walked in. The interview didn't go super well. He asked me a lot of questions I couldn't answer, so I didn't get that job and I was a little bit devastated. But then I ended up getting the best job ever in the world that I could have imagined, which was going to Milford Sound. And throughout my vlogs, you're definitely going to hear me talking about Milford Sound a lot because it was completely life-changing for me. And looking back at this experience, I'm so glad every single day that I did not get that job in the travel agency. My biggest takeaway from moving so much, which has given me so much peace in my life. Don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of tumultuous chaos inside me because of how much I've moved as well. But something that has really helped me in life has been the fact that things are always gonna work out. Always gonna work out. Got to a point in New Zealand where I had 50 New Zealand dollars to my name because I got in a car crash and I had to pay the insurance, and I was cleaning sheets in hostels. It was very traumatizing because I remember picking up some sheets and they were wet and I thought, oh no, did someone piss themselves? And then I gave it a whiff. It was cum. So yeah, a lot to think about. Alright, this is a big one for me. Languages. Honestly, shame on you if you move to a country and don't at least try to learn the language. It really annoys me when people do that. It's giving colonialism. Some people give me the argument, oh, I'm contributing to the economy. Look, take Barcelona for example. Catalans are really mad at foreigners right now because we are driving all the prices up. I feel terrible because I know that I'm part of the problem. Goethe said, "Wer fremde Sprachen nicht kennt, weiß nichts von seiner eigenen," which means the person who doesn't know other languages knows nothing of their own. I think that's a really beautiful quote because when you discover new things about different cultures, it makes you appreciate your own a lot and gives you so much more perspective on how you've been raised and who you are as a result of your environment. Another really cool quote is from Charlemagne, who was what was he, like a king? No, emperor? I'm gonna fact check that for you. Charlemagne said, "Parler une autre langue, c'est avoir une autre âme." which translates to have another language is to possess another soul. This is one of my favorite quotes ever, because one, it really resonates with me. I've dedicated a lot of my life learning languages. And two, it is so true. I have a different personality in every language I speak. I feel like I'm funnier in English. I get angry in French. And I'm just at home in Spanish. Honestly, I think I'm gonna end up in Spain. Like, I don't know where the next few months are taking me. I'm very lost. Also, being able to communicate with someone in their mother tongue is so special. I remember traveling around South America, and obviously Spanish is not their only mother tongue, but it changed my experience completely. You're able to have a much deeper connection with people when you can connect with them in the language they feel most comfortable. To finish off the prose, I've written down lifelong memories. All of my best memories are from discovering new places and having the width of the world at my fingertips. Just feeling like the world is your oyster and that it is there for you to enjoy. Whoa! Chosen this ominous hole to start off on the con. Okay, this is so uncomfortable. Cons. Number 1 con. Safety. Especially as a woman. You will not believe. Sorry, this is really uncomfortable. You would not believe the crazy shit that has happened to me. Yeah, man, I have some really crazy stories. To name a few, I've been attacked by a meth addict, launched at me and strangled me. That's trauma for life. Another very stressful story was I was on the kiwi orchard in New Zealand, and my boss invited me to get in the car with him, and I thought other people were coming. I thought he was showing me something for work. He ended up driving me for 10 minutes to the other side of the orchard, offering me a beer, and I was so scared. I was so scared. Thank goodness I am a pretty feisty woman, and I yelled at him. I was like, you better take me back right now. But that was terrifying. I was basically taken away in a car without knowing where I was going. And it's not the only time that happened. I was taken away in a car another time, further this time, to go and get money, actually. Yeah, safety. You're so impressionable when you're young, and you trust people, and you just want to believe the best in everyone. As a young woman, you can't. Unfortunately, you just can't. So be careful. Second biggest con, I would say, huge one, loneliness. It is insanely isolating to move all the time. You constantly have to create a new life for yourself, uproot yourself completely. There have been moments of my life where I wish that I had stayed put to continue friendships. However, on this point, when you travel, especially if you travel alone, it's actually very easy to make friends. You'll meet a ton of people, and you'll have the most intense, beautiful connections. And these people will hold places in your heart for the rest of your life. That being said, the friendships that you make while traveling are always more intense because you are in these environments for a certain amount of time, and it allows for you to get so much closer to people so much faster. But it's very much of its time. The reason you're able to have these intense friendships is because you know that it's temporary. people are their best selves when they're traveling, and so you get to meet the best version of people that is probably not going to be the full version. And my counterpoint to that is actually my best friends today are all people like me. They're all nomads. They're people who travel a lot. We get each other. We understand. We're there for each other long term because we know how to maintain long-term friendships. It's a big con. You're going to feel very lonely a lot in life. You need to be very independent. You need to know how to sort of shit out by yourself. But you do also make long-lasting, beautiful friendships in a network of people who keep moving as well, and who you can go and see around the world, which is really cool. You're going to go and visit your global network of friends. Me encanta. Next con of traveling, but this is a big one actually. Taking things for granted. I have a very clear memory after living in the fjord in New Zealand, which it's New Zealand. It's hard to top. When you move into New Zealand at 21 and you live in a fjord for 8 months, you meet your first girlfriend, you have your sexual awakening in this incredible place. It's very hard to live up to that afterwards. I have a very clear memory of going to visit my ex in California after living in Milford. I remember just driving around Yosemite and feeling just, it's okay. Milford's better. I had to check myself. I was like, Oona, you can't go to Yosemite and feel meh, you know? You can't. It's not okay. So, this is coming from the utmost privilege, of course, but this will happen to you anywhere that you go traveling. Any experience that you have too much in life, if you have too much of a good thing, then it's not that good anymore, is it? So that's what happened to me. I was just constantly surrounded by insane landscapes it became the norm, and I wasn't appreciating them as much anymore. And that's sad. That's a sad place to get to in life. But that's also youth. With age, I've come to appreciate everything, even the gross piss-smelling park in Barcelona. Con number 4. This is an obvious one. Environmental impact. This is why I really wanted to make a distinction between backpacking and slow traveling. For me, the pros of spending more time in one place are just immeasurable. It just makes a huge difference for you to really be able to absorb the culture and be part of the community. You'll get more out of it, but it also, it's better for the environment. Slow travel, just be conscious of it, you know. There was a year of my life I was not, and make good choices for your environmental impact. Maybe when you do long haul flights, cut out your meat for 6 months. Wishful thinking. And for the final con, we are in a rock passage at golden hour. The biggest con of moving all the time and being far away for me is being away from your family. That's actually what brought me back from Australia. I remember feeling this insane guilt of not being with my family. You miss out on a lot of life events, you know, and it's really heartbreaking, especially when it's people you love. It's really hard not being able to be there for siblings or just family in general. It's heartbreaking. I guess you can't have it all. My family is all very we're all living in different parts anyways. We're all very international. I don't know, I wouldn't change anything. I really wouldn't. I love my life. I do think I need to slow down, but life's actually not that short. Touch wood. It's not that short. We've got loads of time, and I think society puts so much pressure on us to have it all figured out I don't have anything figured out. I just know that I love exploring new places and that it brings me just an incredible amount of joy. So that concludes the video. I genuinely think that everyone should live in a different country at least once in their life. I know language barrier can be something, but I think it's really worth it just to gain more empathy, perspective. It helps you, it helps other people connect with the outside world. It's an all-round wonderful, magnificent experience. It offers you such an abundant, rich life and meeting so many people from so many different parts of the world. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, please put them down below. Hope you have an awesome day, and I hope that you book some tickets to go traveling to some really cool destination, and that you pick up some Duolingo to learn a new language. I'm joking, I hate Duolingo. Immersion is the best way to learn a language.